Coaching. What I tell you, Wild Card Weekend is here. We've got lots to say. I am back in Los Angeles this morning, and good morning to you. We have Joel Klatt, College Action FIESTA Bowl, the playoffs, Ole Miss, Miami. There's NFL prospects in the mix. We'll get ready for the semifinal situations with the brilliant Joel Klatt and a Giants legend. Perfect person to talk to. Phil Simms joins us to talk about New York, the vacancies around the league, and some of these wild card matchups. Let's go. 2 more days until Wild Card Weekend. One of the most intriguing coaching cycles in recent memory continues to happen here. By the way, we have a job opening. Hamilton? Matthew? What did I tell you yesterday?
Yes. You told me more were coming, and here we go.
And did I name this one? I did not on the show, but this, I think, ran its course. And I don't know, and I love Mike McDaniel. I loved getting to meet him. And I got to say, as we look here, he's parting ways. Stephen Ross met with him this week. I think a lot of people, and I think we might not be done. I don't know if we're done with the, this is, there might be one more. There might be one more. And maybe we'll see after Wild Card Weekend, because there are a couple of those names that, you know, they're preparing for games like they're preparing to save their careers and their lives. As far as, you know, this is a tough business, if you talk to Darren Waller about. I'm sure you're not shocked to see this. Anything else I need to know? Because I know it just hit the presses. The presses? The press?
Yeah, just the press.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, just breaking this morning. I think, you know, a lot of people aren't surprised in the wake of the John Harbaugh news. I think that's the part of it. Because if you're wondering, oh, why did it take this long? Why did it take until after, you know, all these other teams made their moves? You'd have to think that was a significant piece of it here for Miami and Stephen Ross.
I'm trying to, I don't think, I know exactly who's going to go do this gig. I know exactly who's going to go do. I'd like to hear everyone's thoughts on who they think is a good fit, who would be attracted to the Miami job. Okay, and I don't know. Is it a more attractive gig than New York? What do you do with Tua, right? What do you do with Tua and that contract? Harbaugh has got to go to New York, and then you need like a young, slick coach who will like Miami in Miami. I don't know. That's the vibe. So I'm excited to see what's next for McDaniel. I mean, this is a game-changing addition. Let's make no mistake. And this is not like, oh, I gotcha. I called the like I do think, you know what? I'm a little lighter on the losing the job coaching thing than I've been in recent years, because I really believe in the talent of all these guys as the best in the game, and they really kind of end up where they're supposed to be. I believe in like the faith of like how those things work out, and I think that will happen with Harbaugh, with you know whoever may or may not be next with these 8 vacancies now. I think we're up to, right? So and I'm looking at like, you know, like obviously guys will take those jobs without getting fired, like a Ben Johnson. But Mike McDaniel will go to a team, and he will be a game-changing addition as one of the best offensive minds in the biz. So I'm excited to see that. He'll be on a staff. So if I'm Dan Campbell, I'm doing everything to get him to Detroit. He's got phone calls coming in. Like, he could be a big addition. By next year, they could get right back into where they need to be. Speaking of the Ben Johnson kind of departure. Go ahead.
Yeah, and there are a lot of OC vacancies opening up around the league right now, because Dan Campbell, the Lions firing John Morton the other day. The Bucs this morning just fired Josh Grizzard, their OC. So he is going to be the most sought after offensive mind. And I wouldn't put it, he's going to get head coaching interviews here too. Absolutely. But even if that doesn't happen, he is going to totally change somebody's offense this year. And I love that idea of him in Detroit. I think we see him right back in that Super Bowl, at the top of that Super Bowl favorite list next offseason if that happens.
It's so true. So that just happened right now. Your thoughts, guys, as this sort of starts shaking out. We're going to talk to Joel Klatt and Phil Simms. I think Kevin Durant is on the show tomorrow. We're taping an interview with him a little bit later. Let's talk a little Wild Card Weekend. But before we do that, speaking of coaching, like the Bucks collapse was hard to swallow if you're a Bucks fan. We do have the reports that Todd Bowles sticking in Tampa. I know that there's this feeling with this one was really hard. There were Super Bowl, not hopes, but the goal. The goal was break through and they took a step back. And I don't know. I have to tell you guys, with every fiber in my being this morning on a Thursday, back in LA on Team No Sleep, Todd Bowles is the guy. Todd Bowles has earned every right to keep his job and fix his mess. And, by the way, that began this morning. They fired John Grizzard and Thad Lewis, their quarterback coach, and their OC that I'm seeing. Can we go to the full screen here? Here we have it. 3 straight division titles means something, regardless what division you're in, okay? He has had to replace his OC 5 separate times, as you're seeing. And he keeps it rolling. It's been stable. This year has been tough, some injuries. I'm not going to make excuses, but the players go to bat for him. He's their favorite. Everyone in the organization has to. And really one of the most respected figures in this league. And it's part of why these great players want to be in Tampa. If you can't figure it out next year, yeah, that's, to me, an entire discussion. He's just accomplished. You can't, there's this thing of like, people's patience, fan base's patience, the speed of the game, how quickly some of these guys are Ben Johnsoning their way into a 2 seed. I understand that, but that doesn't mean that we have to like be so trigger happy when it comes on this, comes to this. And then, yeah, I don't know. He's got to stay. I don't want to hear it otherwise. Okay, let's talk. By the way, Baker, left shoulder sprain. I'm looking at the injuries. Right bicep injury, 2 separate knee issues, throwing shoulder injury, and an oblique injury. Bucks were 5-1 heading into that was the oblique was something we heard about heading into that. They were 5-1. So with Baker, you need to protect yourself better. Should the Bucks have maybe protected him from himself so he could get healthy for a stretch run? That's a discussion I'd certainly be interested in having. The Niners did it with Brock. It seemed to work. Both valid questions. I'm not buying into the idea that we know this is who Baker is. We saw who Baker is. I don't like that either. We have too much evidence otherwise, and I trust that he and Bowles turn it around next year. Now, Matthew, is Evans part of that equation? That I don't know.
That's going to be the big thing this offseason, because both Mike Evans, both Levante David, not only free agents, but as we know, have both brought up their retirement word.
Only if they won a Super Bowl, though, I feel like. They're both like, if we win. They expected to win, and that's the sad part of this. And I don't know if fans really knew that as much on like a daily national level, but that was the expectation. They fell so short of it. But, he's only 32, Mike Evans. I can't, right? Like, he can't.
I know.
Why is he even talking about retirement?
I don't know. I didn't like that in that training camp interview, he kept bringing it up, like, because, you're talking about like the list he can join and all that. And he's like, I'm not going to be playing that long to reach those numbers. So it's certainly something that's on his mind. But yeah, I mean, he showed clearly he still has plenty to give. He looked great before the injury, coming back after the injury.
Oh my gosh.
He's got to run it back, I would think.
We have more injury news for the Niners?
Yes, we do.
Ricky Pearsall. Trent Williams, not in practice yesterday. Super Bowl in their backyard? I don't know, like, what are we doing? Fred Warner's replacement, Tatum Bethune, now out for the year. Is that true?
Yeah.
So am I playing at linebacker? Who are the guys playing at linebacker for them right now? Do you know?
So there's 3 guys they added around Thanksgiving. I know Kaiser White, the former Cardinal, is one of them.
Thanksgiving.
Yeah. So it's guys that have not been a part of this team all year long and that were out there available for them to pick up.
Well, it's not like they face a team that runs the ball really well or has like a Lane Johnson or a Saquon trending the right direction. No, they have the Eagles. If they do that, they're going to the Super Bowl. That's wild. That's really bad news, though. I don't know how they'll be able to do that.
Yeah.
The Eagles offense, thanks, Sam. Thanks for naming linebackers for me that were added on Thanksgiving. Stats is somewhere clapping for you this morning. Here's, thinking about the Eagles and what they're doing and what's going to be a huge difference maker for this playoff run for them. I want to call my shot on something Hamilton put on my radar, and I co-sign. There's like a thing to this Eagles offense that we haven't seen much this year, that is going to pop off, and that is releasing and letting Jalen Hurts cook on the ground. Take a look at this. We're talking designed runs, people. These are Jalen Hurts' numbers on designed runs over the last 4 years, not including tush pushes, not including scrambles. These are plays specifically for him to run. Jalen, run. And you can see he's averaging almost 3 times as many carries per season over his first 3 years as a starter than he did this year. He's been super effective when he's done it. It hasn't been a big part of the offense yet, and it makes sense. You're paying him all that money. He is the franchise. You don't want to run him. And he can throw. You don't want. There's a danger in it. There's a risk you're taking in doing it. But now that the playoffs are here, I think we see the legs become a bigger, game-changing factor. And I think it's going to help the entire offense. When defenses have to worry about Jalen keeping the ball, it's going to open up the run game for our guy Saquon, who's crushing it. It's going to draw defenders, of course, their eyes into the backfield and open stuff up, downfield for the passing game. I don't have to explain the basics of football to you. You understand what's going on. And then I don't have to explain to you either that these linebacker injuries are kind of ripe for the picking in this wild card round matchup. That one is Sunday, 1:30. Not sure the channel, but very excited to see what's going on FanDuel Sportsbook with all of that. Okay, we're going to take a short break. That was a lot. Joel Sims. We have 2 guys. Joel Klatt is going to explain college football playoffs to me as he does so kindly. Thank you. I know you're so busy right now. I'm excited to talk FIESTA Bowl, Miami, all of that, little NFL draft, and Phil Simms on the show. Yes, Joel Sims, 2 of them together. Up next. Oh, man, I need a water. My voice is gone.
Oh, man.
Could you make this? Shoot. Never mind. I can't do that. I can do that. What's up?
Yeah, I really wonder just how much of all the discourse with the Eagles off, like how much is going to be fixed just by that, because when you really look at the last 3 years, it's been such a huge part of what's made them successful. Just using his legs and designing stuff for his legs to be a part of it.
I think the Niners. Who would the Eagles play if they win? Who are the options? I know that's tough. Sorry.
Yeah.
They play
it'll recede, so they would play
the lesser of evils between the lowest seed. There's a chance.
No, they would play.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they would have to go to Chicago potentially. Yeah.
Eagles, Bears. Snap, that would be crazy.
Yeah. And they would be favored. We have look at headlines for that already. They would be, hold on. They could potentially play the Rams as well. If they play Chicago, they'll be 2.5-point favorites at Chicago.
I'm not going to Chicago. I decided.
It's too much. Vegas ruined it for you?
Vegas, yeah. My brother just sent me like every Vegas meme he could because he was like, responsible decision by you. And I said, I'll see you next week for Eagles.
There you go.
Yeah, I can't do that. I cannot do that. I'm excited to have Joel Klatt on. Not more excited than Cal Filson.
Yeah.
Is he coming out here? He's not going to do the question? No. Okay.
He should be. No? Did we decide against it? Aw. Okay.
I'm sure that was... Oh, was it? I'm sure it was. No, he's not coming out. Joel's biggest fan. I don't even want to make the introduction because he'll steal Cal.
Yeah.
And Cal will, like, run through a wall with, like, he'll have, like, this mark will be on it. Like, he will be gone to go work for Joel. Okay. Ole Miss. Ooh, fun.
Yeah.
I'm excited. Okay. Yeah. I can't wait. Okay, cool. In Glendale, right? Arizona? Okay. Yay! Take a look at this. Tonight, it's the CFP semifinal. Miami, Ole Miss. It's in Glendale, Arizona. Joining me to tell me everything I need to know, which honestly, Joel Klatt, whatever you say will be more than I know about any of this. You're great. You are perfect. You are an expert NFL draft analyst, host of the Joel Klatt Show. If you're seeing Joel, thanks for joining us.
Good to be here. Thanks for having me on. How are you?
I'm so great. I don't know much. I'm very excited. We have these broadcasts that you're, you're just into everything. You're one of the best in the biz, so I appreciate you on such a busy time helping us here. What do you enjoy most as a fan of sort of experiencing what you will over these next couple of days?
Well, I think in particular this year, it's the fact that the blue bloods, if you will, or the teams that have really run college football for a number of years, are not running college football anymore. And now we've got, very new blood, if you will. Oregon has never won a national championship. Indiana has never won a national championship. Miami hasn't done it in quite a while. Ole Miss, it's been forever. And so the idea that college football has changed and morphed and shifted. Listen, Kay, in the NFL, one of the great things about the product is the parity. That every single year, every fan base feels like, with the exception of a few, I'm sure, but feels like they've got a chance to at least go to the playoffs and make a run. Look at the Bears this year, right?
Yes.
With Ben Johnson and what they've been able to do, right? Like, I'm a Denver Bronco fan. All of a sudden, we've got a #1 seed in Denver, and that's exciting. Well, even though people criticize name, image, and likeness and the payments that players receive, and they criticize the transfer portal and the agency that players have in order to move and their freedom of movement, look what it's created in college football. And I would just make an argument that the product has never been better because we've got more parity. Indiana is the #1 seed for for goodness sakes. They're 14-0 and 14-0 for a reason. In this matchup specifically, Miami and Ole Miss, I think it's a really great style because you've got a mobile quarterback from Ole Miss and Trinidad Chambliss, and you've got this great pass rush for Miami and guys that we're going to be talking about when it comes to the NFL draft, like Ruben Bain and Mesidor. They are terrific pass rushers, and that's really where the game is going to be won or lost, is whether Miami can corral Trinidad Chambliss and force him to play from the pocket versus outside of the pocket.
Well said. It's a crime that we don't get you on these broadcasts.
Oh, I would love that. I mean, I would do anything to broadcast a playoff game. There's no doubt, but you know how it goes. Those contracts are out of my hands.
I think you're the best in the biz. I think it's.
Oh, thank you. That's nice of you.
Yeah. Just saying. Let's talk a little bit about this. We've got the Fiesta Bowl, of course, but the Rebels have Charlie Weiss Jr. As an OC on the sidelines, despite some uncertainty about his availability, as I understand it. Now that he'll be coaching, does it change your mind about this game at all?
Well, see, here's the thing, and I think you'll agree with this, okay, is that it's not just about what you do on game day. Now, obviously, as a play caller, that's important what you do on game day, but it's also what you build for the game plan. And a lot of times, the hay is already in the barn, if you will, when it comes to the game. And so my issue with the Ole Miss situation, and if your viewers aren't up to speed, Lane Kiffin left Ole Miss before the playoff, okay? So Lane leaves, and he goes to LSU, and he's going to be taking most of his offensive staff from Ole Miss to LSU. Well, he wants them to leave right away. Meanwhile, Ole Miss still has a playoff run to go on. So these coaches who are now under contract at LSU are basically being loaned out to continue to finish the season at Ole Miss. It's a disaster, which this week, as the transfer portal opened on January 2nd, Lane was having his guys be back in Baton Rouge in order to host recruiting visits for transfer players and go back and game plan for Ole Miss as they preparing for Miami. And I would make the argument as a former player that the quickest way to be defeated is to be distracted. And that's the definition of distraction, is you're trying to serve two masters there, both teams, both coaches, both head coaches. And my hope from the player's perspective is that Charlie Weiss Jr. and this Ole Miss offensive staff have had the time necessary to build a game plan that the players deserve. Because to me, I'm a player's advocate. I want the players to go out there and have the most success that they possibly can and be put in position to have the most success that they possibly can.
Really well said. I know, I mean, it's hard to not know about Lane Kiffin, even if you've never watched a snap of college football. Like, he's on every headline. There's a lot going on. You know him very well. How do you think, I don't know if regret would be the word, hypothetical potential regret. What will happen to Lane Kiffin? What will he be thinking if they go on?
This is a great question.
And win a title.
So there's a lot of layers. It's a great question, right? There's a lot of layers to this. Number one is that he negotiated into his deal at LSU that LSU would pay him the bonuses that he would have gotten at Ole Miss based on how far Ole Miss goes. So, like, for instance, their quarterfinal victory over Georgia, I believe that made him like $500,000 that LSU just had to pay him as a bonus. So that's wild. So from a monetary standpoint, I'm sure he's encouraged and loves that.
He's okay.
Here's the other side of the coin, though, is that part of why he left is that there's this perception that you have to go to a place like LSU in order to win at the top level, right? I think that's an archaic and old school way of thinking about college football, and that's being proven out based on the first answer I gave with all this new blood that's playing in the semifinal. There's this notion that, like, well, it's been done at LSU, so I've got to go there in order to win a national championship. And I made the argument, and I was one of few that did, that no, he doesn't have to leave and he doesn't have to go to LSU because the opportunity to win a national championship was right in front of him. And sometimes you just have to be where your feet are and own that spot. And I felt like if he did that, he would be able to compete for a national championship. Him leaving and leaving Ole Miss before the playoff, I thought was a signal that he didn't think that they could win a national championship, which again was unfair to those players. And listen, he and I have texted. He obviously disagrees with a lot of the things that I say and critique of his movement and the offensive coaching staff. But I maintain that I don't think he had to go to LSU, and the proof is in the pudding. He had built Ole Miss into a competitor and a team that could go to the national semifinal. And at this point, as you know, once you're in this scenario, it's like, well, why can't you win the national championship, in particular with a quarterback like Trinidad Chambliss?
And if they win, gosh, if they win, what a story.
I mean, what a story.
What? Like, best story. If they win, is it the best story in college football history? Is that too hyperbolic? Like,
maybe. I mean, it resembles, and I can't remember the exact coach's name here, but I remember in 1989 in the NCAA basketball tournament, Ralph, was it Frieder, Coach Frieder, and Michigan?
Okay.
He left, and then Fisher got the job. But anyways, that was right before the NCAA tournament, and ultimately it worked out, and Michigan won the national championship. But here's the thing, Kay. Indiana has a chance to win the national championship, which that could be the greatest story of all time. Because coming into this season, they were the losingest program in the history of our sport.
Crazy.
They had lost more games than anybody, and here they are,
in
undefeated
history?
in history, and here they are in the semis, #1 in the country with a chance to win it all. It's wild.
I love it. You mentioned Trinidad. Who am I going to be talking about? Get me ready here. Who am I going to be talking about and hearing about more? Him or Beck? In my world, months from now.
That's a great question. Beck is coming out. I don't know if Trinidad is coming out.
Yeah, he's waiting to see, right, if he has another year of eligibility.
They've got a waiver in, and they're trying to get more eligibility for him to stay in school, which I think is actually the right move. It'd be interesting because you bring up those two guys for this matchup tonight.
Yeah.
But I would also throw out that, like, this decision is going to need to be made by Dante Moore at Oregon, who I'm sure you've heard of and people are talking about in the draft. Ty Simpson at Alabama. These quarterbacks in college football, and what's so fascinating as I sit here and do this now over years is that it used to be a very easy decision for these quarterbacks, and you could say, like, well, yeah, they're going to be a first-round player, and they've got to go financially. But now they can make $4 or $5 million in college, and are making that. And I would make the argument that experience is actually more valuable than going out there and just grabbing the bag in the first round right now. Like, for instance, if you go back to basically Brady's first Super Bowl, so basically this century, if you compile all the quarterbacks that have won a Super Bowl, Brady's actually one of the least experienced as it relates to his college career. The average of those guys that have won Super Bowls in the National Football League, they're averaging over 30 starts, over 1,000 passing attempts. It pays to be very experienced before you end up in the National Football League. Yeah. And we're seeing that play out, by the way, with Bo Nix, exactly. And we saw with Jaden Daniels and all these young quarterbacks that have success early have a wealth of experience in college. So my argument for a guy like Trinidad Chambliss or Dante Moore, stay in school. You can get paid a lot of money, and you get the experience necessary to go succeed at the next level.
I'm going to show you something my amazing producer, Cal Filson, put together in the instances. Well, you mentioned Dante Moore. Of course, there's Mendoza. They're on top of the draft board. And I'm wondering, like, how much, like, why am I watching? Because maybe this happens. Let's take a look at this. We have similar maybe we don't have that. Oh, sorry. We have similar instances like that have happened in the past. 2006 with Leinart and Vince Young, and the Sugar Bowl with Jamarcus beating Brady, and then Russell. You know, there's if Dante decides to come out, how much could the head-to-head battle sway how the Raiders view those two options? Because there is some. There's a bit of a precedent for it mattering. Yeah.
So most of the time, and I'm. When I talk with scouts, they always talk about, and GMs, they always talk about matchup games, because in the NFL, every game is a matchup game because everyone has similar talent, and it's the cream of the crop across the board. But in college football, that's not always the case. All right, like the disparity between an average team and a great team in college is way bigger than in the NFL, and so scouts will talk about matchup games and what do you do in those games when talent is equated. And so a game like this between Mendoza and Dante Moore, much more stock is going to be put into it by the NFL decision makers. So let's just say Dante Moore went out there and played a spectacular game. It would create a conversation. And maybe he would come out, and maybe he would be the top pick. But it would be a game that would be the deciding factor for whoever drafts him.
I wanted to get back to this matchup, right? Because I have a couple questions here. It's the Peach Bowl, rematch from earlier this season. Hoosiers 3.5-point favorites. You have Indiana winning, I see. If Oregon does pull off the upset, what's like the one thing that needs to happen?
It's a great question because I've got like 5 things in my head. So first and foremost, you have to stop the Indiana from running the football. And in the games that have been close for Indiana this year, just games that were, one possession in the fourth quarter, the one constant was that the opponent held Indiana under 4 yards per carry. And the reason that's so big is because Indiana does as good a job or better than anybody of converting on third down. And they do that because they stay on schedule. And so they're in third and manageable. Well, the only way to get them out of third and manageable is to stop the run. And so that's first and foremost. But then it goes past that. And I'm just going to add one more. Oregon in the first matchup was 0 for 3 scoring touchdowns in red zone possessions. And that is a huge strength for Indiana's defense. They're number 1 in the country in their touchdown percentage against with their defense. And so when Oregon has chances, can they convert with touchdowns and not settle for field goals? That's ultimately where the game is going to be won and lost, is stopping Indiana's run game and then making sure that you're taking advantage of those opportunities that you have in the scoring area.
So Oregon or Indiana, if they win the Natty, is it safe to say that the Big Ten is the top dog here, best conference in the country?
I think that, even now with both of them and in particular, it's a debate between the SEC and the Big Ten. And I get labeled a Big Ten homer because Fox has the Big Ten rights. So I do all the Big Ten games. But, that's how it is, as you, I'm sure,
yes, I do.
Understand.
Yep.
Here's the thing. The proof is in the pudding. The last two national champions have been from the Big Ten, Michigan and Ohio State. They've got two teams in the semifinal. And this year, the only other conference that you can possibly look at as the other strongest conference is the SEC. And they get a lot of love, and rightly so, because there's a ton of draft picks that come from that conference. But they're also 2-7 right now in the bowl season against other conferences. That's not great. You know, one of those wins was Texas over Michigan. And obviously Michigan is reeling right now with the scandal that broke with their head coach and the change that they've had. And then the other is Tulane, when Ole Miss beat Tulane. So my issue is like, well, who are you beating? You can't just tell me that this is the best conference over and over and over and over and over again, if the proof of national championships and record and postseason play tells me different. So right now, yes, the Big Ten, at least at the top, is the best conference in America.
There's Oregon running backs, 3 of them that have entered the portal. 3 after this Orange Bowl win. It's crazy to think, right? But it's just the times we live in right now. So how would you go about fixing, if you could, the portal and sort of the calendar drama created?
You are speaking my lange. I love these questions.
I know that I am.
So much. So
hilarious. I can't.
Well, first of all, can you imagine being in the like second, like the divisional round of the NFL playoffs, and they're like, "Hey, free agency opens." It's like, well, no, like that would be insane and stupid. And yet that's what we do in college football. We just have a transfer portal open during our postseason. It's insane. The first thing that I would do is that I would fix the calendar, and we would compete and play the season. And then we would have a roster building time, and then we would have a preparation time. So those 3 areas would be separated out, just like they are in the National Football League. I think that the transfer portal should be in March. But even if you want to have it in January, we need to be crowning a national champion by January 1st. Just play the playoff. These long breaks we don't need in college football. In fact, we lose momentum, we lose interest, and then we get into this time of year where we're competing with the NFL playoffs. And that's like wrestling a grizzly bear. Like, how about we not wrestle a grizzly bear and just play on January 1st? Like, I don't understand why it's that difficult.
I don't either, but you have all the answers. I'm so glad you liked our questions. My producer worked very hard on them. Give a shout out to my producer, Cal, Joel. He's your biggest fan.
Cal, I love it. You did a great job.
He crushed.
It was phenomenal. I love it. Thank you for having me on. I appreciate it.
You're amazing. And by the way, UFL coming up. It returns March 27th. I'm sure you're doing that. Please come on for the draft and teach me things. Will you promise?
I would love to. I'm sure you might probably be in Pittsburgh. We can maybe do. Will you be in Pittsburgh?
Of course. I don't know. Who knows? I don't know where I'm going to be tomorrow, Klatt. We appreciate
that's a good point.
Take a look at the Joe Klatt Show and enjoy the college football playoff games. Thank you so much.
You bet.
We got Giants legend Phil Simms coming up. Who should be the coach? Everybody get to FanDuel, by the way. Whatever Joel Klatt just said, it's going to happen. It's true. Go have some fun. I'm like crying. Never have I ever known less about what is going on and had someone be like, great, Cal, crushed. Like,
absolutely crushed.
Cal's at the home run derby, just back there. Whap! Da! Shohei. Cal Raleigh, I met Cal Raleigh.
Yeah, there you go.
I just think that's not an okay thing to call him.
Yeah, you're not into the nickname?
Why is everyone laughing? The Big Dumper? Is it an actual, like that's what they call him on the, like in broad, like.
Oh yeah.
No, I don't.
That is what he is known by. Yeah.
It feels uncomfortable to say. I'm not into that. Cal, way to crush that.
No.
Thank you. You were great. I know. Yes, I know, Joel. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. I can't wait to get Cal's resignation letter. Cal, will you give me 2 weeks? Will you wait till post Super Bowl? Yeah, Cal, that is. I would hand you off. I would literally. Where's he based out of? Oh, he's here? Oh.
Oh, there you go. Easy transition.
Cal, get me through Super Bowl, and I'm gonna get you to him. I'm not even kidding. You should. That sounds great. What is it? What's your Joel Klatt story? Matthew?
My Joel Klatt story?
Uh-huh.
Oh. No, Cal and I were talking before the show about his playing days. I just remember, my freshman year at Mizzou beat us to end our Big 12 North championship hopes.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, Cal, what a story.
Yeah. What was that? Just,
You guys are
he
wild.
was, yeah. Colorado was never the same after he left. We were talking about that too. Like the program kind of fell apart.
I completely missed what you were trying to. I completely missed what you were trying to do in the beginning of that, Cal. But I got back to it. I gave him your compliment.
And he loved it.
Just like I think Cal's officially Hamilton up my back doing this.
New York Giants first-round selection.
Sim throws the corner. Touchdown, I believe he's in. Sims is looking way downfield. He got to receive it. Complete. Sims is looking for a target. Sims. End zone. Touchdown, Bavaro. He's going long, way down deep. It is. We'll take the Ingram. Touchdown.
Two-time Super Bowl champion quarterback from the New York Giants, MVP of the Sugar Bowl, by the way. We're just talking to Joel Klatt, in-game analyst for the Big Ten on Peacock, co-host of the Sims Complete podcast. We got 2 vacancies we got to talk about. We just got one this morning. There's 8 total and counting. The Miami is out. I got to ask you, if you're Harbaugh, is there any way that Miami's a sexier candidacy than the New York Giants, where I need him to go?
Yeah, well... Miami's interesting. I think the Giants, without question, I don't even think it's close. They have more to work with and a quicker turnaround than the Miami Dolphins would because of Tua, all the money, everything else. Listen, the Giant team at times this year, I went, wow. Not only I think they have a chance to be pretty good, they're fun to watch. And most of that comes from the quarterback. I mean, listen, I watched Jackson Dart a lot last year leading up to the draft, but he turned out to be and look better on the NFL field than I saw him look even in college. He just was more dynamic, the throwing, the running. So the Giant job's a better one to me.
Giant job's a better one, and is that where you'd put a Mr. Harbaugh, or do you like a Stefanski there? Do you like a young cat, like a Clint Kubiak type? What would be the best fit for your Jackson Dart?
Yeah, well, I have a lot of things that, I would just say this, Kay, not to avoid the question, but I did work for the Giants, and I know most of these coaches, so I've been pretty quiet on that. I think there's good guys. I'm not even saying I'm looking for him to get the job, but like Kevin Stefanski, why would you hire him? I don't like his offenses when I see him and how they run and what the plays are. I love it. I mean, I think it's unbelievable. He's the guy, if you're a quarterback and you got some talent, if you get Kevin Stefanski as your head coach or offensive coordinator, it doesn't matter. You got a chance to be really good.
Well said, and I very much respect what you're saying. Of course, Giants have the 5th pick in the draft, by the way, as we're looking at things. Now, in honor of Wild Card Weekend, I'd like to take a look. Let's go to the past, shall we? Let's flip it and reverse it. Wild Card win up against San Francisco. Sir, this is 1985. What do you remember?
Oh, shoot. Not much. That's for sure. It's so funny. I see these old films or, me throwing, I go, damn, if I tried that now, my arm would go with it. And so,
you beat Joe Montana.
Yeah, no, I beat him quite a few times. Of course, he beat me quite a few times, too. I beat Dan Marino. Yeah, it's great. Well, I don't know if I did it. Our defense did. Maybe that was the true answer to it.
You had touchdowns to Mark Bavaro, Don Hasselbeck, 181 yards, 2 touchdowns. Do you remember the interception?
No, was that a playoff game?
I can't. You don't remember this?
Well, no. I played a lot of these teams in the playoffs in regular season. So Hasselbeck, his last year was 1985, if I'm not mistaken. So that game, and Mark Bavaro might have been a rookie or probably a rookie that year. So, man, not bad. Mark Bavaro.
You got to win.
If it doesn't get hurt. 17-3.
Niners defending champs. The Giants, by the way, had won 2 playoff games in 20 years before that big win. Now, let's take a look at this year. Let's go into the future. It's Niners, Eagles Sunday. Eagles offense. Lots of ups and downs. It sounds like they're figuring it out. You know, do you trust Jalen Hurts and this offense up against a Robert Saleh defense?
Good question. I look at this game and I go, wow, if Philadelphia having the game at home and with that roster, and I know you hear that a lot and everybody talks about it, it's all true. It's not good. It has a chance to be great. And I think about this with the Eagles. You know, the emotions, all the focus on them after winning the Super Bowl last year and the one they lost a couple years before that, it can wear on a team. But as it came towards the end, you could see it coming together. At least I could. The running, Saquon Barkley, the quarterback, that worries me a little bit. If it gets to a point where you have to throw the ball to stay in the game or win, then, man, the 49ers got them right exactly where they want them.
On the AFC side, it better be. It should be the Bills' year. Are the heroics that what?
Well, no, go ahead.
Tell me what you're going to say. What are you thinking?
Well, what it's the Bills' year. I mean, really being honest, and I know the Bills, I've studied them a lot. Before the season, this is the year, the Bills, and then I go, why do you think that? I know it's Josh Allen, but I look at their roster and watch the team and go, man, I just don't. If they get to the Super Bowl, I think it'll be the coach, the quarterback, the team. Man, I'll give them tons of credit. Because I don't know if they can. I don't know if their team is good enough to go through the gauntlet, win 3 playoff games to get to the Super Bowl.
They have the NFL's leading rusher.
I know they do. And they're going against the NFL's leading defense against the rush.
And their rush defense is terrible. I think I say it in a way. I say it because it is every year. It's going to And I said it mid-season. I said, or once when the Chiefs weren't looking like the Chiefs and Burrow was injured before he came back on Thanksgiving. I say you better win because we talk about you like you're supposed to win. And you have the reigning MVP. So, if they don't win this year and then you're going to have, it just feels to me it's never going to happen if it's not this year. That's my fear.
Yeah, I know, okay. And not to always be against everything.
No, please.
But, listen, they're a good football team. You're just looking at them playing Jacksonville, I think this is a really rough place for them to go down there and try to win. Jacksonville's big. The quarterback has finally got it. In other words, he's got a coach that's driving him, being tough on him. And his joy or whatever enthusiasm of playing is evident when I watch TV or even I watch film and even his interviews. Trevor Lawrence went from liking pro football, he loves it. And it's really fun to see. And, man, if Buffalo can get by this, Kate, this might be the hardest test they could have in the playoffs. I really believe that. Jacksonville, big, powerful, tough, hard coached, against a team that really relies a little more on speed, smaller, everything like that. So it's really an interesting game. But I'm just going to go there and say if I had to pick a winner, I'm taking Jacksonville.
That is clear. We understand you are very much liking the Jacksonville Jags, with a lot of credit to Trevor for embracing a coach and his philosophy and his, Liam's hard on him. It works, and he's reinvigorated, and I like that you're giving Liam the love here this morning. I'd like to get your thoughts on...
Jay, let me just say, in 1984, I got a guy named Bill Parcells who kind of changed from 83, and all of a sudden I went, wow, this is awesome. We got a chance here. We got some talent. We can turn this around, and which we did, and I think that's happened to Trevor Lawrence, too, down there in Jacksonville. Sorry to interrupt.
You don't remember that monumental win over Joe Montana, but you can recall 84 in Parcells, I'm just saying.
Okay, 1985, we beat Joe Montana in the playoffs, And then we beat them again in 1986.
Okay, good.
In the playoffs. Okay. And that was the unfortunately for Joe, that was the game that Jim Burt decided to make him a flying object, and he couldn't play the rest of the game. So
let's talk MVP, my friend.
Yes.
I'd like your thought. It's a 2-quarterback race. I don't know if anybody will ever win it that's not a quarterback. It's Matt Stafford. You're already giving me the face. What does that face?
I say this all the time when I do these things. I just go, man, can we at least have a rule? You can't say who's going to be the MVP until like week 10. You know, the Heisman Trophy. God, we got it before. Who's going to win? Week 1. Oh, he might have sealed the Heisman Trophy. It's crazy. But saying all that.
Well, Phil, it's the regular season's over. Stop griping about week 1. Who's the MVP?
Well, I got to go back and gripe about the things I like to gripe about.
You sure do. Let's go. Who you got?
I'm going to say Matthew Stafford, okay? And it's really close. And I'm really say that just because he's older, been in the league. I want to see him win it because he's been tremendous in his career. But also Drake May, man, I don't know what to say. The guy is a second-year player. He's big. He's got a great arm. He can run. And he makes it look so easy. That's what really it kind of bothers me as the next quarterback. It's supposed to be hard. And he can just make dynamic throws with no effort at all. So this is going to be an interesting game. They got in the playoffs. And I'm very curious because I think the Chargers is a good match for them, too.
Can I see the AFC control room and show our friend Phil Simms? And I like that you like the Jags. I like that you're very decisive. You know what you're seeing here. You know what you think might play out. Who do you like in the AFC? You think it'll be easy walk for the Broncos? I like the Texans. I like their path. Who do you like?
Will it be an easy walk for the Broncos? Oh, my God, no. It's, the quarterback. I love all this stuff. I hear people still talking about, well, they're doing it with an undersized quarterback. Have you ever been next to Bo Nix? They say these things. He's a monster. Man, he's got legs like a damn linebacker, and he runs, but whatever. Sean Payton and Bo Nix are both going to have to be really, really great, I think, to find a way to get to the Super Bowl. That's the first thing. What was the other thing you said to me?
I sort of what pops out to you if they're not going to have an easy walk. Who could make it tough for them? Who could go to the AFC? Is there a sneaky team you like?
Well, yes, everybody's saying Houston, which I kind of believe in. I think the one thing about Houston, I do see them giving up more points at times against better teams that would, make me think twice. But that defense, you hear it, it's all good. The quarterback is, he's solid. Their pass protection is very iffy. So, sometimes when that offensive line meets a good defensive line, look out, that could be the difference in, going forward. So I don't look at the AFC and just go, I really love this team to go there. It could be one of 4 or 5 teams that could make it.
I was going to go to Chicago, my hometown, for this Packers-Bears game. I want to be there. I don't think I'll make it. I'd like to have them advance so I could go. Don't look at. Why are you looking at me like that? I can't make it. But I could.
Where are you going to be? Why can't you make it? Where are you going to be?
I was in Vegas for 4 nights too many, Phil.
Oh.
So I just can't. I cannot see myself traveling back and forth. I just cannot. So I'd like to go next weekend when they could maybe have the likes of the Eagles.
Okay.
At Soldier Field. Do we like the Bears to get a win over the Packers? What does it come down to? How much of it? For me, it's like the coaching. Who has the coaching advantage here? The guy who has maybe more experience, Matt LaFleur. In round 3, it's just who's got the better stuff, right?
Well, yeah, there's a lot of things. One, I remember before the season, not to pat myself on the back, which I don't, but everybody talking about all this. I said, look, if you redo the draft right now, I still will take Caleb Williams #1 because there's so many things that are explosive about how he plays the game and who he is. And now he's got a coach, just like Liam Cohen down in Jacksonville. The coach is on him and changing his mind about how you play football. What are you doing? You need to work harder, all these things. And being there in Chicago and that field and that atmosphere, and the Green Bay, they've kind of faltered at the end, and so did Chicago a little bit. But Chicago emotionally, how long can you keep that up? Well, they got a little rest. Here they come, and I like the Chicago Bears in this game beating Green Bay. I love hearing that. Hopefully they've got some semblance of a home field advantage with those cheese grater hats, and Caleb Williams maybe with what's gone on in those fourth quarters, maybe it'll translate well.
to a playoff situation?
I always look at this, and I learned so much from Bill Parcells, but, it's really important in these big games to do what? To get some points on the board first. And I said, why is that such a big deal? We got the whole game. He goes, because I want them to be chasing us. And I can speak from experience. Just going down the field and making a field goal early in the game, you go, all right, we're on the board. It's a big deal. And, the longer you don't get on the board, the more stress and what the hell are we going to call? So I look at these playoff games and who can be the team to get that first score to really put some pressure on the other team.
I'm looking, I started my show today and I'm thinking, watching those highlights, the effect of Ben Johnson in such short order, just getting that one hire, that the pressure now to the impatience in the league. I started my show having to defend Todd Bowles, who's taken this team to the playoffs year in, year out, collapses this year, and people are saying he should be fired. I came out defending him, sure, if he does it again next year, maybe we'll talk. But the Baker was all these things. I'm so curious what you think about, I'm looking at the numbers. 15 coaches fired the last 2 years. Is that evolution okay, part of the game, or do we just have zero patience and that's not okay?
There you go. Nobody has patience for anything. Every fan base wants the best quarterback in history to be their quarterback. He's got to do it all. And every time they lose, oh my God, the quarterback, he only completed 70% instead of 75, or whatever. Hey. The quarterbacks, it's amazing how quarterbacks that really play well are on good teams. Man, it's funny how that works out. But between fan bases, talk radio, I don't know, all that, Kay, I really believe it's a big part of it. And the owners, listen, they want to get in the playoffs and Super Bowls and all that stuff too. So what we're seeing last year, this year, I think we'll see it again next year. This is just the norm right now. We're moving head coaches out like we do starting quarterbacks now. Well, they only won 10 games this year. Yeah. We got to change.
I think the opposite, somebody on Twitter will clap back and say, or even me, Vrabel, I don't know, Ben Johnson came in and Liam Cohen came and turned it. Why wait? Why buy time? Time is money. We got to win right now with these rookie quarterbacks, the way the salary cap is. Mike McDonald in Seattle, isn't there a make the change? Don't wait. Who cares? This is a business. There's nothing to that.
No, there is. You make a great point there. A lot of these coaches being hired in places where you go, well, wasn't that bad from the new coach? And then they go in there and they rip it up. Man, they do a great job. So all the questions we had about Ben Johnson, we'll see, Mr. Genius, what he is now in Chicago. Well, he proved to everybody, not only is he a genius, he knows how to motivate players. And I love their style of play and what they do. And I got to admit, too, his after-the-game celebrations in the locker room might be the best I've ever seen.
Okay.
Wow. But, it just shows you how the world is changing.
Yes.
Can you imagine some of the Tom Landry running in the locker room and throwing his hat down, or anything?
Taking shirts off, all sorts of things, yeah.
Yeah, I would love to see Bill Parcells rip that shirt off. That would have been great.
I will leave that there. Who's representing the NFC in the Super Bowl?
Hey, look, I'm going to go the easy way. I'm taking Philadelphia. And just because here in the last 2 weeks, I started looking at these teams and I just said, man, show me the weakness of the Philadelphia Eagles when you look at who they are and what these players can do. And I know the answer. Everybody's going to say, well, the quarterback, yes, in certain situations, I think it is a weakness. And the head coach, who at times during games can make a decision. And I'm sitting there watching TV. I don't know why I'm yelling at him, but, I'm like, what are you doing? So, and I think, too, decision-making in the playoffs will settle down a little. In other words, you're in field goal range, kick the damn field goal. We don't have to go for every fourth down. But everybody says the same things. Well, analytics, and I'm just an aggressive guy. Well, that's not good enough. These analytics and going for it all the time, I'll tell you what else it can do. It can get you fired.
You're aggressive. You are. You say what you're feeling. I appreciate you so much. You hate the Bills. That's what I'm kidding. You like the Jags.
I didn't hate.
I know. I'm joking.
I know. Let me say this. I would love to see the Bills win and all of them stand up there and just say to everybody, "Now you know what you can do."
Yeah.
Put it that.
But we're going to take a YouTube break here. I'd like to keep you, though, Phil. What was a Parcells celebration like? We'll be right back on the show. This is why you should subscribe to the YouTube. We'll be right back. Complete Sims podcast, by the way, on YouTube. Subscribe to that. Phil, what was a Parcells celebration like?
There was no celebration. I don't know. I don't remember seeing Bill Parcells in a locker room doing an interview or anything after any game, except when the Super Bowl came, because we all had to be in that space and he was interviewed or whatever. But yeah, no, he wasn't in to say, hey, we did what we were supposed to do, men. I told you, whatever. If he
even after a Super Bowl?
Well, yeah, he being interviewed by, I forgot, Brent Musburger, I think. Yeah, that's when he kind of said some things, but otherwise he didn't come in the locker room and do a speech of how we played. In fact, a lot of times he'd already be setting the table for next week. You know what I mean? He would be going, oh, everybody's telling me how hard we played. Well, hell, can I take that for granted? We're going to play hard? I don't have to come to go thank the players for doing that. I mean, Bill was great. He could take anything and take it back down to the first floor and make you start all over again every week.
There wasn't like a Super Bowl party. There wasn't a Super Bowl party where he's getting on stage with,
no.
Mariah Carey or REM or something.
We're talking about a long time ago. All those celebrations we see now and the party afterwards and all that other stuff, that was not part.
What did he say about you going to Disney, the Disney World? Did he say, what is this? Was he mad? Like, what was he? You didn't want him to go with you?
Yeah, well, he didn't know it, of course. And, it doesn't matter. It was after the game. But, like, if it would have been, let's say, a playoff game and we had another the next week, and if I did that, he'd be going, he would, of course, would not be happy as the understatement of the world.
I just love how much reverence you have for him. Somehow in an interview, you mentioned him like 9 times. It's just very cool.
I can't help it.
I know. It's very cool. I like it.
Well, no.
We'll have to have a whole off-season convo about it. We got to wrap, though. I'm so sorry.
Oh, no. That's why you had me on today. It's because of him. Because he put me in this position. So that's why I got talking about it.
Beautifully said. Tough, tough love. Thank you so much, Phil. Please subscribe to the Complete Sims podcast on YouTube. We will see you. We'll have a whole Parcells thing next time we chat. And we will be back on the air in just a second. Thanks, Phil.
All right. Thank you.
Awesome. Great. Sure. So funny. FanDuel is in playoff mode. That means you get to choose your own reward for each round of the NFL playoffs. All FanDuel customers can choose between a no-sweat bet or a profit boost starting this weekend. For Wild Card, make sure to get on the app. Do it right now. Look at that toggle. Switch it on to playoff mode with FanDuel. We've got so much going on. Kevin Durant on the show. You want Wild Card picks from the greatest to ever play basketball outside of Michael Jordan? He'll be on the show tomorrow. We're interviewing him today. Do you have questions you want Kevin to answer? Tweet us. Bye.